How's it going? I made a music video. If you've been on my channel in the last few days, you've seen that I released a music video for a song called Sadie Hawkins by the band Relient K. It is a 22-year-old song, and I made this music video for a class that I'm in. I'm in an intro to film and video production class, and as one of our big projects, we had to, write pre-production and create storyboards for like a music project that we had in mind. We all did this pre-production, and then we pitched it in class, and then the class voted on like the top projects to be greenlit and actually be made. And mine was one of those projects. I was the director of the music video. I also edited the final product, and I am so glad I was able to make it. It's a music video that I've had in mind for a while. Ever since I heard the song Sadie Hawkins Dance, I looked it up and I was like, okay, they've got to have like a music video for this song, and then they don't. There's a number of like student-made music videos or like homemade film like music videos back from when the song was actually made. And if you've never seen any of them, you should definitely go check them out because they're really fun to watch because it's not detached from the time of the song. They were made around the time of the song, possibly even a little later, but still like some of these are like 13-year-old videos. So I looked this up a while ago and I was like, oh, well, a music video doesn't exist, but these music videos exist. And then I was like, I wonder if I can do it as well. And that was sort of a side thing. I was like, okay, maybe I can make this one day. I'll find the time. It was more of a distant project, but then I enrolled in this class and I found the opportunity to make a music video. And I was like, I already know what I'm going to make. I've had this idea for years now. So the process of making the music video was super exciting. I've never been a part of such an involved process, especially being the director of this project. I had a lot of fun seeing like a new perspective, because usually when I make stuff, it's on my own. It's just me in my basement, and I have my phone, and then I edit on iMovie the same night, and then it's done. This was a whole other monster. This was being in charge of a crew. This was having to rent out equipment. This was knowing how to use cameras, knowing how to direct someone who's using the camera instead of being the one who's using the camera, knowing how to dump that footage and being able to organize it in a neat timeline on Premiere. I also know how to edit on Premiere now. That's like a whole thing that this class has been helping me out with. Being able to sequence that in a way that fits with the music, being able to color correct. I learned and also was challenged with a lot of things when I made this project. And I really am so grateful to have had the chance to do it because it's opened my eyes a little bit. Now I'm like eager to do stuff like this some more. And it's a totally different process as to what, making my dumb little sketches on this channel was like. Obviously, it's more of a serious project. It's not really funny. And it also, it was great. No sound. When you make a music video, you barely have to worry about sound. And that was the most exciting part because I suck at sound. But it was really, really fun. I had a lot of fun doing this, and I don't know. I just kind of want to talk about all the stuff that went into it. First of all, I want to acknowledge, and I did acknowledge in the video, and I acknowledge in the description. And I've acknowledged it multiple times when I've shown it to people, but I want to acknowledge it one more time. This would have been impossible without a good crew, and I had a really, really good crew. I had Meg, who was my cinematographer, and she's the reason that everything looks so good. That the motion of the freehand shots looks so good. The reason why a lot of the shots are set up exactly like how it looked in the storyboard, because she knew how to recreate that. She did a great job with that. My producers, Giovanni and Olivia, so many location scouting problems were occurring during the time of this production, and they managed to help me out and ease my mind with that so much. They were super, super helpful in that aspect. A lot of my other crew members were like incredibly helpful in just picking up the slack wherever was needed. This was a student-run production, and so obviously sometimes you're doing things that you weren't assigned to be. Like if you're the script supervisor, you might find that you're actually doing something that like a set dresser would do because we don't have that many people. I was super grateful for a lot of my crew members just kind of jumping in and doing things that weren't their job description, and that was really helpful, especially when I wasn't paying them, because this is a project we're all working on. And that's the other thing. The dedication that I got from my crew and from my cast and from my extras as well was great for something that everyone was basically volunteering for. And I know it's just like a grade, but really it was fun to be in a production with people who it seemed like were actually like working towards your goal, especially with the fact that I came up with this music video idea. This wasn't something that we all sat around and did, and so that was here we go. Well, that number one, that was one of the things I was scared of. I was scared that I made this project and I like wrote out the storyboard and everything, and it was my idea, and so I was scared that everyone else wouldn't care because totally fair. Like if you didn't work on this at all, why would you care? Especially again, if you're not being paid, and this is just simply a student-run production. But fears were eased immediately. Everyone seemed really excited about the idea. Everyone seemed like they really had a great time kind of listening to my pitch, and then a great time visualizing what it was going to look like. And it was received really well when I finished the final edit. The crew was happy. Professor was happy, so that was great. But it went really well. Another fear I had was that I was just going to get in over my head and then just kind of like drown. Because this was a lot. This was a lot to do, and it was a lot it was a lot to put trust in that many people as well. It's something where there's the difference between what I did for this project and what I do during the summer or like during breaks where I just write my own sketches. Is it's fully me, and it's fully I am just doing everything, and I come up with the idea and I do everything and I write the sketches. This was trusting people to be an extension of my creative ideas and helping me achieve that, and they did. They fully did. I shouldn't have ever had any fear that working with a crew would be difficult. Well, I mean, it definitely can be, but it wasn't with this crew. They were a great team, and they were really helpful, and in no way was my idea compromised. In fact, it was improved upon. The shot where or the multiple shots where there's the band and they're switching clothes, and throughout the whole sequence whenever they're playing, they're switching clothes and stuff. That wasn't originally in my storyboard, but because I had a conversation with one of my producers and my cinematographer, all of a sudden a better idea is in my script, is in my storyboard, and it's in the plan to shoot. And we did that in one night, and it was super, super great. It was super fun to do. My cast was great. I loved my cast. Cole and Claire and Samantha did a great job as our three main actors. They really, and I forget because these guys are like in like Villanova student theater, so like they do act, and it was one of those things where it wasn't like a group project in which like the crew has to act as well. It was surprising that like because I remember like the first few shots, and I was thinking to myself behind the camera, I was like, oh, these actors can act. And then I forgot, oh, they're actors. So that was really fun to experience and to be able to, see them do their job. And the great actors too. The band, I know all three of those guys. These weren't like random people. So that was also really helpful to know some of the people that I was working with and directing. But the band did a great job. Connor and Kevin and Owen, they were really into it. They had a lot of fun. That was another apprehension that I initially had. I was afraid that whoever my band members were going to be weren't going to be able to put in the amount of energy and excitement needed for those shots, because when you cut to the band in a music video, you want to see them like playing as if it were like a live performance, as if they were really playing. And these guys were just basically, mimic playing and pretending to sing to music that was being played through a speaker, and it wasn't nearly the amount of energy that like a live performance has. So I was afraid that, that was going to be an issue, but it absolutely wasn't. They did a great job. I mean, they had a lot of fun with it too. My favorite shot is I think, there's two favorite shots, because like there's two different kinds of shots in this music video, right? There's like shots of the band, which is always fun, and then there's like the narrative shots. My favorite shot of the band is when Owen is just going crazy right before the bridge when he's like doing his solo. I think that's really cool looking. And my favorite narrative shot is got to be when Claire and Samantha, our two main girls, are like interacting, and like especially like when they like are touching hands, like that shot. When we were all on set, everyone after we like did that shot, we were like kind of like, wow, like this looks so cool. That was so intimate and cute. The story itself, I guess, I could explain. There's the obvious fact of like it kind of subverts your expectations. The whole thing is like saying by a guy, and the guy's like, oh, the Sadie Hawkins dance, and then there's a guy in most of the music videos, so you're like, oh, they're gonna get together eventually. She's just playing hard to get, and then I flip it on you, and there's the bridge. I was just, I was writing. I've had this idea in mind for this music video, and I was like, as I've been thinking of, like what this music video could have in the middle of my pre-production process, I was like, Sadie Hawkins dances are weird, because on the surface level, it seems like a forward-thinking idea, right? It seems like, well, the guys always ask, why don't we let the girls take some charge in who they decide to go to the dance with, and that's great, but it further emphasizes the fact that someone has to be the one to ask. Like a Sadie Hawkins dance has to be the reason a girl asks a guy. Other than that, the guy must ask the girl. Also, the guy doesn't have to ask the girl. The guy can ask the guy. The girl can ask the girl, like in a music video. I wanted to just kind of say, to hell with that rule. To hell with the idea that like, oh, you need to ask a certain person. A certain kind of person needs to ask another certain kind of person. So it's meant to just kind of say, hey, ask whoever you want. It's an old idea that like a certain kind of dance needs to be the reason that someone asks a certain type of person. So just ask whoever you want whenever. Yeah, so it was really fun to take Sadie Hawkins Dance as a song, which is a 22-year-old song. And, Relient K might have written it with the idea of like, no, but a girl must ask a guy for a Sadie Hawkins dance. And maybe they were just, maybe Relient K was just like, no, these are the rules. And we want to sing about this cool idea, this dance, and sing about, teen angst and, anxiety of being asked to a dance. And that's great that they captured that. Maybe that was their surface level idea. Or maybe not. It would be cool if, that was their intention, is to kind of make fun of the idea of a Sadie Hawkins dance. Because when you listen to the lyrics, it kind of makes fun of the idea of like being so anxious about it. It like takes a hard left turn sometimes and is like, oh, do you like my sweater though? And it's I don't know. So I don't know. The lyrics could be interpreted a certain way. This is how I interpreted it, and this is what I wanted to do with the music video. I had so much fun writing it. I had so much fun like realizing it and being able to actually capture it. And the editing process was like, I was having like that was literally like a playground for me. I had a lot of challenges along the way. I had multiple times where I had to ask crew members of mine like, hey, how does this work? Because I'm like not very familiar with Premiere. I'd say now I'm a little more familiar after spending like, I don't know, like 10 plus hours on this project in the timeline. So yeah, I had a lot of fun editing it. Color correction was a new thing. I've never done color correction for anything ever, but I wanted to for this because it's like a thing you're supposed to do. So I did it. So yeah, that was quite an experience. I had so much fun doing it. I don't have any stories where I get to talk about what it was like to interact with the band to make this music video, because this wasn't a professionally made or by the consent of the artist. So it's an unofficial music video, but I think I'd enjoy doing this again. So let me know if you guys liked the music video, if you guys were fans of that. I tried to cover everything I wanted to talk about in background here. I'm sure I missed quite a bit, but I don't know. I just wanted to talk about it and address the fact that something new was on the channel and something different. And the first time I felt like I did something professional, which was really great. Oh, I completely forgot. So the final chorus scene where everyone's dancing and stuff. Another thing that I learned is do not count on the amount of extras you had in your mind showing up to the actual shoot. My plan was to have enough extras to basically make it seem like it was a dance, like a Sadie Hawkins dance. And to fill that gym, that tiny little gym, that still would have been like a good, like 70 people or something. I don't know. I definitely was expecting a lot of people, mostly because I reached out to everyone I knew. But you shouldn't rely on that many people showing up. A good like 14 people or something. I think maybe like 10 extras. 10 extras showed up. And so on the fly, we were all like, what do we do? What do we we don't have as many people as we planned for this shot to look, and we don't know what to do, how are we supposed to adjust to this. And then we had a great idea that like it was just going to be everyone dancing around the band, and we'll continue this shot of the band in that place, and it'll make for that fun cut that where we go from them playing to the dance. And yeah, so it was stressful that night, but once we figured it out, it was great. And we had Meg and Olivia going around like just using handheld cameras and getting cool shots, and there's a lot of great shots from that. It's like one of my favorite sequences of like the whole project. But yeah, I just totally forgot to mention that was like the most stressful thing, is because from the beginning of like the pitch, like immediately when I pitched the whole thing of like this is gonna happen and then this, and then at the end there's gonna be a whole dance with a bunch of people. Even though people did sign on to be on my project, that was like the first question a lot of people had. They were like, how many extras are you expecting to like show up to this? And full transparency, I was like, we'll just get as many as we can, with still the confidence that we would have plenty. And I shouldn't have had that much confidence. So that Sunday rolls around eventually, and we're expecting people to show up, and everyone who is in the video is there at that point, and we're still like, well, we can wait for a few more people, and no one else shows up. And so that was like a daunting thing kind of looming over my head the entire production time. Like every time we would film, be like, wow, it was great, guys. Can't wait for the scene where we film with all the extras. Let's hope everyone shows up. That was definitely the most stressful part of the whole production was realizing that oh no, we don't have as many people as we thought we'd have. Let's adjust on the fly. And then we did. So, and that comes down to, it was a great crew that helped me adjust on the fly when necessary, calm my nerves when things were going wrong, make sure we had equipment, making sure that we were able to get in contact with good actors. So yeah, I think that's the biggest takeaway, is a lot of this is because I had great people to work with, which is so new to me. Not that I haven't worked with people before to make things, but this is the first time I've worked with people to make things that I was going to put on my channel. And so this was fully my project, and I had people that were basically, extensions of myself, and they did great. They really helped me out, and added their own individual input, and it made for a really good project. And I hope y'all enjoyed it. I hope you had fun watching it, and I can only hope that you want more. I might be making more stuff as I'm back, because the semester is coming to a close, and I'll be back for winter break for a few weeks. So I might be making more stuff. Who knows? We'll see. So appreciate the love and support for the music video, and happy holidays if I don't get to say it to you after the new year. Bye.